Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're comparing a couple of bourbons. All right, Ben. I know we just talked about Basil Hayden not too long ago. It's come up a couple times recently on the channel.
Yep.
However,
there's a new one in town.
I was wandering a liquor store not too long ago and found this guy. Really excited to find the Basil Hayden Toast. What do you know about it?
Well, I know that this is, we get both of them, the Basil Hayden Toast and the original Basil Haydens. I know that they dropped the apostrophe S off of the new one, the new version. The other thing is so the toast label on it comes from a secondary barrel.
Second.
So
it kind of started out like this. Probably, it's a normal Basil Hayden.
Similar, but also they made a change to the mash bill too.
That's true.
Yeah, so what they did is they added brown rice to the mash bill. Now, I don't know if they took the rye away or if they just made it into a four grain.
Yeah.
But they added brown rice to the mash bill, and they took that and then aged it for slightly longer in a lightly toasted brand new barrel.
Right.
So I haven't had this. This is a brand new product, so we decided since we have this one, you got to compare it to the original.
Definitely.
So.
And they say on their website that this is a new permanent member of their lineup, so this should be available everywhere at some point in time.
So a new addition to the small batch.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kind of like they've got Booker's and then Little Book.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, let's do it. Let's get.
I'm curious how much longer the original stays in that particular kind of.
I think this is changing actually I think they're all changing to that.
I think so. For whatever reason, Basil Hayden's been really popular as a gifting bourbon because of the presentation on the shelf. And it seems like...
It's a fancy bottle.
It looks like a fancy bottle. And so they're changing, which may affect them. But
it's still wearing the wrestling championship belt around the...
Yeah, but there's a little bit of a tuxedo.
On this one.
Yeah. To be honest, I've been gifted a couple of bottles of bourbon in my life, and Basil Hayden was the first. And I think for that very reason, it was someone who didn't really know anything about bourbon, but that looked, it's kind of mid-price. It's not super cheap, not super expensive.
It comes across as fancy because there's a bit of a price point on it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so as we always do these, the bottle on the right is the glass on the right. Start with the new one.
You want to start with the toast?
Yeah, just because this is something we've never had before, so I want to go into this with a fresh...
Fair enough.
Palate.
Looking forward to this.
I'm going to actually nose both of these before trying either one of them. Oh, well, there's some...
Get lots of flavors. They're light though, and this is an 80 proof bourbon.
Yeah, both of these are 80 proof. We did this one not too long ago, but I feel like just from remembering, this one's a little more rich.
That's what I was thinking. I'm not getting anywhere near as much off the nose of the original.
No, not even close. This is way richer on the nose.
Way richer. Nothing stands out as really unique. It's traditional bourbon kind of notes. A lot of the caramel.
It is. You can pick out I feel like you can pick out some rye, and maybe I'm just being influenced by the fact that Basil Hayden's is typically a high rye.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they didn't get rid of the rye.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Okay, little correction here. I was able to find a press release after we recorded this video, and there is no rye in the mash bill. So the brown rice did replace the rye. So whatever note I was getting, the extra spice, was not caused by rye. Maybe the secondary toasted barrel or just power of suggestion because I associate Basil Hayden's with rye. So either way, just wanted to clarify that here before any of you start clarifying that in the comments. So back to the video. Cheers. I think that what they said for the brown rice was to actually smooth it out. So
that's what everyone says about the wheat when they add wheat.
Right. But apparently somebody thought Basil Hayden's needed to be smoother. So all right, well, I'm going to go in for the taste here.
All right, here goes toasted. There's something unique about it.
Wow.
Wow, there's a lot of flavor.
There is a ton of flavor for 80 proof.
Surprising that it's only 80 proof. Like there's a spice.
Yeah.
There is
That punch is way above 80 proof.
almost like a hazelnut kind of flavor. Maybe toasted almond.
I was
guess.
just going to say toasted almonds.
Yeah.
Which we usually kind of come up with that on a wheated bourbon.
We do.
Boy, that's really impressive. To be perfectly honest, I didn't have my hopes up very high for this because if you watch our Basil Hayden review, this one, while it is good in flavor, it's not bold in flavor. It's very, very mellowed down, proofed down, in my opinion, too far.
Yep.
Especially for the price point. Now this one was $50, right?
It was 50, I think so.
Okay.
And then what's Basil Hayden normally? In the 40 range?
Yeah, 40s. All right, now I'm going to go to this one. Normally I would drink some water, but they're both in the same family, so I want to see the stark contrast.
Way more flavor than I was getting anything on the nose. Like there is a nice flavor profile that wasn't there on the nose. But
on the nose, there's just nothing on this compared to this. I agree with you though. On the flavor, there's a little bit more than the nose would lead you to believe.
But it's not everything. Like it's not the most amazing bourbon ever. It's like it's missing something.
Yeah.
It has a alcohol punch. It's got the caramel note. It's got the vanilla note. But it's not like a full range. It's not a symphony.
It's all muted. I think we.
It's not a symphony orchestra. It's just a couple of instruments playing. Mm-hmm. You know,
quietly.
Yeah, well, quietly and in separate rooms.
Yeah. You know what? To be honest, since it's still fresh in my mind from doing the review on this one, I'm enjoying this a little more today than I think I did the day we had it in the review, and I'm surprised by starting it off with something that's noticeably more of a bold flavor profile.
Mm-hmm. I like it. It just, the way I describe it is it feels like it's missing, it's like it has a hole in it. Like it's got this one really nice flavor, let's call it like a cotton candy note. But then it has this rye spice, but there's like no connection between them.
And it's a little weak.
It's a little weak.
Just because of the proof. I'm going to go back to the toasted now. Really got the oak on that. Like, I'm actually getting a decent char note on this, which it's still a bourbon before it's a toast. So it did go through a charred barrel.
Yep.
But for me, I usually get like the oak spice and stuff, but not really the char quite as much. Mm-hmm. But I'm getting that. Whatever they did for whatever level they toasted this and however long they left it in it, I think they did it perfectly. Because we just had recently, we did a review of the Elijah Craig toasted barrel that I was super excited about because I'm a big Elijah Craig fan. Yep. And when that came out, to be perfectly honest, I was a bit disappointed in it because that secondary barrel just added something that was a little odd.
Yeah.
I feel like this is in the same family, but they nailed it. Like there's something off balance about, and I know I like the Elijah Craig toasted barrel a little bit more each time I had it, but there was still something about, you could see the direction it was going, but I just felt like it was off. And this
feels like a real step up above the normal.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're obviously in the same family. Although, I mean, I don't know if it's the rice making it different, but because it's a different mash bill, probably different age, definitely the second barrel, they are unique. There's a lot of different flavors.
I don't know that I'm seeing this being smoothed out. Because that's what I read, that the brown rice was supposed to add a layer of smoothness. I think this is really bold, and maybe it's just, maybe the original bourbon was smoothed out with the rice, but then bold because of the extra barrel. And the two of those just happen to balance really well.
So I'm wondering if it's some nuance where maybe the rice really does kind of take off some of the peaks for the rye spice. Because this one definitely feels like it is a little bit more balanced and a little bit easier to drink.
There is something about this, and I can't put my finger on what it is. You know when there's a flavor that you recognize, but you can't put your finger on it?
Never had that happen.
It's almost, it reminds me of something I get at like a carnival. Not cotton candy, and I know that one comes up sometimes, but there's almost like a batter, sort of like a
elephant ear thing?
maybe. Yeah, that might be it, like a funnel cake or something. It's like
cake?
sweet, but it's savory at the same time. Well, from the Midwest, I mean, we're just getting like a cheese curd note on it, you know?
Look at that.
No, it's not really cheese curds.
Well, I'm impressed. I actually really, really like this.
I think it is funnel cake. There's like a sweetness or mini donut. And maybe some of that is the cinnamon and sugar and it tastes fried a little
Going
bit.
there, I was gonna say cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah.
And maybe deep fat fried.
Yeah, that is mini donuts. That's what I'm getting.
Mini.
Yeah, to be honest, I am extremely, compared to where I thought this was gonna go, I thought it was just gonna be, it's like, okay, they're smoothing out regular
I was gonna
Basil
buy one
Haydens.
for you and you said no.
I know, because I was going out of town that day too, so I was like, well, let me check around some other stores and see if I find anything weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really punched above my expectations for sure. Now, it is $50.
It is $50.
So it's
And
getting into that.
Plenty of other bourbons in that category that maybe hits, it's a little bit better of a hit for you.
Well, when we did this one recently, we said that this is a great intro to bourbon because it's so smooth, which to us kind of
smooth. It's just.
But it's an easy drinker.
It's an easy
low
drinker.
proof.
Yep.
This one I think is a really good step in between that. I think somebody who's new to bourbon could really enjoy this because it's got bold flavors, but they're not aggressive like in a, obviously not an alcohol sharpness. But I think somebody who's really into bourbon and tends to like something considerably higher than 80 proof, still enjoy this because it's still got really bold flavors for what it is. So yeah, I will pick up a bottle of that for sure.
Okay.
I like mini donuts. And this has far less sugar, there's no deep frying, so basically this is a healthy alternative, to mini donuts.
Eventually they're just gonna have to do fried bourbon. Don't know what that means yet.
At like the Minnesota State Fair, bourbon on a stick.
Bourbon on a stick.
I don't know what your state fair does, but Minnesota's is
Everything on a stick.
known nationwide for everything fried, everything on a stick. So yeah, maybe that's what we need to do. Take the bourbon note to the state fair next year. So, well, I would definitely recommend giving that a shot. If you don't mind the $50 price point.
I'm getting a lot more cotton candy now that I've had several sips.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
So cotton candy and mini donuts. I mean,
man.
it's summer in Minnesota. Think of all the carnivals and
in
stuff.
a bottle.
Yeah, really good. Really impressed. I like the new bottle as opposed to this, to be perfectly honest.
Me too.
I think this one looks a little more sophisticated.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I think this goes in the permanent collection.
Sure. All right, well, this has been Basil Hayden's and Basil Hayden Toasted.
Toasted.
On the Bourbon Note, I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Thanks for watching. Cheers.